Hello, YouTubers. Welcome to another edition of Mr. Bartlett's page of videos. Today we're going to be talking about three kind of giant vocab words for the chapter: the Mauryan Dynasty, the Gupta Empire, and Hinduism. This is probably the 10th time I've tried to upload this video, so if I seem to be a little frustrated or angry, I'm not. It is what it is. So let's begin. The Mauryan dynasty was the first dynasty which united all of the Indian subcontinent under Chandragupta Maurya in around the 3rd century BCE. They maintained control until the 2nd century CE, so almost 500 years of control over India. And this was the first time that India was completely and totally united under one leader. And so this provided some political stability and unification in India. It provided a universal set of laws and tax system and some building projects. And they were very successful in holding on to this territory through kind of violent overthrow of neighboring areas that did not peacefully or willingly subscribe to their version of power. And probably the most important or most famous emperor from this time period was Ashoka. Ashoka was Chandragupta's grandson, who, after violently going around and converting people, or not converting them, but getting them to become part of the empire, he saw that all this bloodshed and nasty violence was hurtful to the people of India, and so he converted to the religion of Buddhism, which kind of embraces this non-violent tradition of loving people and caring about them. So Ashoka was interested in this and spread Buddhism throughout Southeast Asia, South Asia, and even into China. And this was kind of his most significant contribution. His successors weren't as successful as him at keeping political control, and so the Mauryan dynasty eventually fell to some invaders. The Kushans were able to hold power for about 100 years, and then the Gupta Empire was formed after they were able to throw off Kushan control. And the Guptas were able to kind of reestablish political control over almost all of India. They couldn't quite unify every part of India, neither could the Mauryans, but they got most of it, and they were able to, again, kind of institute universal law code, a tax system, buildings, public work buildings. They they were able to provide political stability to the region, and they did this in part because of Hinduism. And Hinduism was this religious belief system which had developed in India thousands of years prior to this time, with the beginnings of the Aryans and the epic writings, the epic age and the Vedic age of written manuscripts, which kind of told some epic poems and stories that formed the basis for Hinduism. So it's this tradition that's rooted in the very formative stage of Indian history. So there's no real start date, there's no real founder of Hinduism, but Hinduism developed as this tradition, this spiritual tradition in India, which is polytheistic, many gods representing kind of the universal force, the Brahman, which is kind of the goal in life, is to reach the Brahman. And Hinduism believes in the concept of reincarnation, and so with every life you are able to reincarnate after death into a higher position or social order. So Hindus very much believed in this tradition, which is rooted in the caste system. The early Varnas from the Aryans became the caste system of Hinduism. So the caste system says that whatever caste you are in from birth, you kind of stay within that same caste throughout your life. And if your dharma, if you have good dharma, which is acting the way that you're supposed to act depending on your position, then you can reincarnate, and your karma dictates kind of where you are going to be reincarnated to. So if you have good karma from doing good things and being a good person, then you'll reincarnate into a higher caste. If not, then you'll reincarnate lower. And so the goal of life is to maintain your position at whatever level you are at. Now, this is significant because in China, they didn't have this same religious tradition, but they did have Confucianism. And Confucianism said basically that everybody has a role within society and they need to play the part of that role in order for society to be successful. So Confucianism didn't bother with an afterlife and what was going to happen to you after you died. They just said, this is what you're supposed to do during this life and this is your place. But Hinduism was a spiritual philosophy that focused on the afterlife, and so it connected moral actions to what was going to happen to you after you died. And this kind of allowed people to feel good about themselves no matter where they were at within society. And so these kind of upper crust people who were up at the top of the social rankings were able to maintain power, and the lower class peoples, all the way to the outcasts who were outside of the caste system, so low that they were called the untouchables, were able to kind of say, this is okay because as long as I live the way that I'm supposed to live, I will reincarnate into a higher position in my next life. So the Maurya, the Gupta empires used Hinduism as kind of a social policy. They weren't able to develop any lasting political foundations. Later on, India would not have this same level of unity, but they did develop this Hindu religion as kind of the glue that holds all of India together. So no matter what the politics of India were, Hinduism became this universal religion in India, and eventually Buddhism was kind of forced out of India so that it's now just a minor religion in India. So I hope you learned a lot. Hope this is okay. I hope this actually uploads, because I would be really depressed if it didn't. I wouldn't be depressed. It is what it is. So I will see you later. Don't forget to be awesome.